Welcome to Midday. Our guests joining us now are promoting International Mother Language Day, which is a fantastic thing to celebrate, of course. We've got Paul Michelle joining us, who is the Executive Director of TRU Aboriginal Affairs. We have Havazir Rahman, and he is the President of the Bangladesh Cultural Association. We also have Humara Haq joining us, who is the Organizing Secretary for the Bangladesh Cultural Association here in Kamloops. So thanks to all three of you for being here today. So International Mother Language Day. I'm just going to start by asking you what that is exactly, and maybe Paul, we'll start with you.
For sure. This is our third year that we're putting it on. We're putting on Friday, February 15th, and what it is that there's a partnership between Indigenous education and also the Kamloops Bangladesh Cultural Association, and we've been putting this on for 3 years. My interest as being the Executive Director for Indigenous Education at Thompson Rivers University, our Indigenous languages are threatened throughout Canada. So I think this day that celebrates International Mother Language Day, it promotes all the countries of the world to revitalize their mother language, and that applies to Canada. So it's been an interesting partnership with the Kamloops Bangladesh Cultural Association.
Absolutely, and just Humara, your thoughts on this? I mean, what you know, this is third year running.
Yes.
What does it mean to the Bangladesh Cultural Association?
We have, as you mentioned, this is our third year, and I think the organizers will agree that we try our level best to showcase different languages around the world and raise awareness here in Kamloops, and especially being TRU, hosting so many international students, and where we can display different cultures, because one of the most diverse part of our celebration is performances. So we recruit students. I wouldn't say recruit, like the students and the volunteers. We ask them to volunteer at our event to showcase their languages and their cultures. So this year and last 2 years, we have performers from Bangladesh, from India, from Vietnam, China. Wow. They all come out and they perform, dance, singing to showcase their culture and which I feel is a really great event that we host in Kamloops to raise that awareness of language awareness.
And it's kind of neat too for everyone to see everyone else's culture.
Exactly.
And I'll just pass it on over to you as well. Your thoughts on how important it is to bring everyone together.
Yeah, well, it's important. What we have is a two-part program. In the late afternoon from 5 to 6, we have a language forum, importance of mother language for cultural preservation, where we'll have a panel of people who will speak to the issue, and then we open it up for discussions.
Oh, that's great.
And then with a half-an-hour break, we go into the cultural show. And typically we start, and as Moira was saying, that we have all these different cultures, but typically we start with Aboriginal drumming and dance, and then it just explodes into all the different cultures, performances, song and dance and all that.
A huge event of entertainment too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's so great.
And food.
And food, yeah. So foods from all over, different countries, or how does it work that way?
Well, this time I would ask Paul to speak about it, because we've got food from Canada's Indigenous people.
Really? Okay, yeah, Paul. So that's a big part of it too.
Which our food for the Indigenous is a mixture of really Western food and Indigenous food.
Yeah.
So we're having an Indigenous taco. So that's going to celebrate the Indigenous foods. And the Bangladesh foods, we have samosa, of course, which is my preference. Which is my preference.
Yeah, no, exactly. So this is you know, promoting awareness of linguistic and cultural diversity. You mentioned, Paul, off the top that Indigenous languages are threatened. Talk to us a little bit about that. I know that is something that's sort of been brought to the forefront lately.
Yes, I mean, of course we know that Canada's gone through its Truth and Reconciliation, and one of the recommendations is that we really promote and ally and support Indigenous communities that are trying to revitalize their language, because within language, that's where you get your knowledge and philosophy. So we know the importance of that. So we know the message to go out with communities. We're a big supporter of Indigenous languages. At Thompson Rivers University, we have a Secwepemc language program. We have Statlium, and we're adding Inkakatmuk this year. So the Salish languages, and then we're building up our tradition at Thompson Rivers University for that revitalization and preservation.
Yeah, it's very important to keep that as part of culture, right? For each individual culture to have their language and to make sure that you know, generations, future generations are still learning how to speak those languages as well.
Yes, most definitely. And this International Mother Language Day was maybe Hafiz can talk about it more. Why it was created it was actually a tragedy in Bangladesh that happened, and this February 21st commemorates that day. But it's also the importance of people that fight for the rights for language preservation.
Hafiz, can you add to that?
Yes. So when in 1947 British left India, it created two countries, Pakistan and India. But Pakistan had two wings, like two provinces, 1,000 miles apart, with India in between. So East Pakistan had 56% of the population at that time of Pakistan, and the language was Bengali. The rulers who came from West wanted to impose Urdu as the only national language. And so the language movement in 1952, the tragedy and people giving lives, that created the language movement. Now in 1971, Bangladesh became independent. But long before that, after about a couple of years of 1952, then the country proclaimed two national languages, just like Canada. Urdu and Bengali, like we have here in French and English. So that's where it was started. And interestingly, two Bangladeshi Canadians formed a group, Mother Language Lovers of the World, in Vancouver, and they put a petition to UNESCO to make it International Mother Language Day. In 1999, it was proclaimed.
Quite a history to the day itself. We're looking at some pictures from past years, and this is what you were talking about earlier, the performances from all the different cultures. It's beautiful already, colorful.
Very colorful, yes. We have a set of volunteers. They're very much designated to decorate the event. So we try our very level best to put lots of colors to represent different cultures. So.
Of course, and what you're wearing right now too is beautiful and colorful. This is the poster. Of course, February 15th is when this celebration of International Mother Language Day takes place at the Grant Hall. Tickets $10. So there's the information how you can get a hold of those tickets and any other information that you'd like. We're out of time, but thank you so much for joining us.